At it again, and I came across this video, and it is what some Harlem residents had to say about voting Democrat. And listen, guys, I know what we see on a daily basis seems bleak and dark, and like the end is near. And listen, it very well could be. But as you guys could probably imagine, I scan through social media all the time on a daily basis. I mean, I'm always on my phone scrolling through social media, reading comments, seeing what people are thinking or talking about, the responses to some new legislation that just got put forth, the response to what Joe recently just said, just overall. And one thing that I've noticed, and I've told you guys about this, is that more people than you would expect have come out and said that they would support a Republican as the next president, and in particular, Donald Trump. Case in point, you guys will see a short. I have to remember to drop this video. See, I get so busy, like I be forgetting. So like, today is March 10th. I'm going to try to remember to drop this video, soon after I record it. But later on today, you will see a YouTube short that is going to really kind of explain what I mean, or give you an example of what I mean. I'm telling you guys, the tides, I personally feel, are slowly turning to the point where we even have the LGBTQ whatever else community speaking out in support of Republicans. They have ditched the booty kissing left and said, hey, we rock with these guys. I dropped a short on it just the other day of someone who claims they're a part of the LGBTQ community, and he made like a joke about Joe Biden. He said, what's the difference between Joe Biden and Domino's? And he said Domino's actually delivers, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. And it's just amazing to see the left try to cater to these folks so hard, and yet they still turn. They still turn and say, yeah, I'm going with the right. Them boys over there making sense. And making sense, you know what I mean? But all seriousness, let's dive into this video. I've talked enough. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Let's dive in.
Black people are voting Democrat at a rate of 90%. Do you think it's possibly time that...
I think actually that number is a little bit higher than that, if I remember the statistics correctly. But I could be wrong.
We rethink this?
Yes, it's actually kind of contradictory,
Yeah.
It's really contradictory.
When you have money, you want to become a Republican because you feel like other people should be working just as hard as you to get where you at. But when you're a Democrat, you feel like, well, everything should just be given to me. And that's not true. You should be working for stuff.
Facts.
Joining me now is Brandon Straka. He is the founder of the Walk Away movement. Brandon, thank you so much for being here with me. Brandon, I watched some of your videos. You went into Harlem. This is where you live in New York. And you started talking to people. Now, we know that this area is full of...
Make sure you guys can see both of their names. Stephanie Hamill, she's with the Daily Caller, and Brandon Straka? Straka? Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. He's with the Walk Away campaign. Love that name.
A lot of people who mostly vote Democrat. So what were people saying to you?
Well, so I went into Harlem to interview really people of color, which, Harlem is about like 65, I think, percent Black. I think it's about 14% Hispanic. And I wanted to have a conversation specifically with these communities because it kind of ties into this movie that we're doing in Harlem. So yes, I was asking them what they thought about the fact that traditionally about 90% of Black Americans are voting Democrat. And yet there are these enormous statistics that show that Democrat policies are really decimating the Black community. The majority of people that I spoke with agreed with me, and they thought that it was time for a change. And none of them were resistant to having this conversation or being open and willing to think through, maybe it's time that we think differently here about how we're voting.
Yeah, I watched the interviews, and these people actually seemed pretty open-minded. And
Love
what
it.
I got from it was that they were pretty disappointed with the people that they have been voting for, the Democratic Party just in general, because they realize that their communities aren't benefiting from the people that they're electing.
Right, absolutely. And it's, there are so many ways in which we see this. I think it's something about around 40% of people on government assistance are Black Americans.
40% of government assistance cases are Black Americans. Yes. Do you think that the Democratic Party is serving Black Americans well?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
There's something like around 35% of Black children are living in poverty. Actually, I think it's 38%. There are more Black children aborted in New York City than born alive. Just try to comprehend that for a moment. And these are all Democrat Party policies. So when we're having these conversations, some of these people already knew these things, and some of them found them pretty mind-blowing. But, I said, listen, I think that your community deserves better.
And listen, let me think. There's so much that I wanted to say, but I don't want to make this video an hour long. It's already getting pretty long as it is. And I've told you guys this before. Black people as a whole, I personally feel from my personal experience, from talking to other Black folks, and I've told you guys this, really don't make a whole lot of sense. And I've told you guys about the few situations where I've literally spoken with Black folks and I've asked them specific questions that relate to the Democratic Party. I didn't say that they were Democrat, ideas until afterwards, but I was asking them, certain things that Democrats like to push, and every single one, they would say no to those questions. And I'm like, well, the Democrats, the politicians support all of this stuff. You just said that you don't support any of this stuff. So why are you voting for them? It's mind-blowing. But then also on top of that, and we're going to get back to the video, you see in a lot of these cities, Chirac. I think it's important that we call it the nickname that was created for that city. It's literally called Chirac. They have been voting Democrat. I think the last time they had a Democrat mayor was like in 1920, if I remember the year correctly. Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. I could be wrong on the exact year, but it's been a very, very, very long time. What has changed? What has changed? You look at some of the worst cities. They're run by all Democrats. Now, can Republicans do a terrible job? Yeah, sure, they can. I'm not saying Republicans are perfect in every sense. No. But this thought process that I have to vote Democrat or nothing else in the Black community has to end. It has to end. It's disgusting. It's terrible. And honestly, I'm seeing a change. I really am seeing a change. I explained some of it to you guys in earlier in the video. I'm also seeing more and more Black folks in the comment section, like agreeing. Hey, listen, guys. People are waking up. The tide is turning. The establishment is panicking. We must push forward. And now I think is when we need to push the hardest. Just saying.
I think all of us as Americans together deserve better. Let's
Facts.
have this conversation. And they're all very open and willing to do that. So everyone I talked to said that they were happy to come to our event that we're having on Wednesday, March 27th, to do this sort of town hall style discussion at the Magic Johnson AMC Theater in Harlem to talk about this.
And how do people react to you when you say that, hey, you know what, I used to be a Democrat and I was also afraid of the Republican Party and I wasn't a Trump supporter. And so I feel like, you do have a connection to people who are voting the same way every single year, not seeing results. And so did they take kindly to it, or do they think that you're kind of, gone off the deep end?
Well, no, I think they took kindly to it, but I think that it caught a lot of people by surprise, as it tends to do. But I don't think that that's a bad thing, that it catches them by surprise, because at this point, there are two realities taking place in America. One of them isn't reality at all, but there is the actual reality,
Facts.
which is that, we have Trump supporters, people who are supporting this president who are actually good people, good-hearted people, and really want what's best, I think, for all Americans. And then we have the concurrent narrative, which is that all these people are racists and bigots and terrible people and homophobes, and that they're supporting white supremacy. And so when you have someone like myself, who is a gay man, saying, I would not be doing this if I thought that my community was in danger, and I wouldn't be doing this.
Remember, guys, remember what I told you at the beginning. The tides are turning. I didn't even know this guy was gay. Had no clue. Had no clue. This is beyond where I watched the video to. I watched it maybe like the first 2.5 minutes or so. So we're beyond that point in the video. So I had no clue that this guy was gay. But once again, I'm telling you, the LGBTQ community, whatever, they've added some stuff to it. I don't know the new stuff. They are leaving the Democratic Party. It's insane. It's crazy to watch. I'm astonished. My jaw drops every single day when I go and I read through comments under specific left-wing posts where I'm expecting everybody to be in agreement, and I'm seeing black people like, nah, bro. The Democratic Party is tripping, man. Hey, where's Uncle Trump when you need him? I'm seeing people who have the pride flag saying some of the same things, and I'm just like, wow. How terrible do you have to be to have the very people that you are trying so hard to cater to, that you are trying to, you're trying to kiss their behind so much? How terrible do you have to be to have those very people turn on you? How terrible do you have to be? In my estimation, you got to be pretty darn bad. Really, really bad. Like you're catering to somebody. Oh, just whatever you want, sweetie. And they're just like, nah, no thanks, bye. Telling you guys, I'm telling you. The tide is turning. I'm not saying relax. This is not the time to relax. This is the time to stand up and speak out even more. Now that we're seeing people walk through the door. And that rhymed. Ooh, I like that. But now is the time to stand up and speak out even more. No hate, obviously, but speak your mind. There's a lot more people around you that agree with you than you might know. I'm telling you. Just look online. Just read through. I'm telling you.
This if I thought that people of color were in danger or any other communities. I am a Trump supporter because I actually believe that supporting this president and this administration is in the best interest of all Americans, regardless of race, sexual orientation, or gender, etc. And so I think a lot of people are caught by surprise by that. But when you start having this conversation and they get to see that, obviously I'm a nice person. I think I'm a very approachable person. They seem open and willing to have this discussion. And that's really what it's about, just opening this door and let's have this conversation.
And I watched a second video.
Sir.
You went to Hell's Kitchen neighborhood in New York City. If you could tell people that are watching this video what Hell's Kitchen is, if they haven't been to that area in New York. And then tell me about some of the reactions you got there.
Well, for the LGBT video, what we ended up doing was going all over the place. It was on St. Patrick's Day, which was like, I don't know, I thought it was going to be crazy everywhere, but apparently everyone was hungover from the night before. So we went to Hell's Kitchen, which is traditionally lots of gay bars, pretty heavily LGBT populated neighborhood. And there was not a lot of activity on the street. So we ended up going down to the West Village, formerly known as Greenwich Village, which also has a pretty high LGBT population. And that's where we ended up doing the majority of the interviews. And so we just talked to a lot of people in the gay community to have the exact same conversation. LGBT people are voting Democrat at a rate of more than 80%. And, so I wanted to ask why. Why do you think that this is? And we got, a variety of answers. A lot of them I expected. And then I told all of them, I'm a Trump supporter. I'm used to be a Democrat. Now I'm a Republican. And they found it interesting, a little bit surprising. You know, we had a little discussion as to why, but I invited them to our event, which is on the 28th of March, Thursday, the LGBT town hall, which is same thing. We're going to have this conversation with the gay community. And they were very open and willing to do that, which was great.
Also, one thing that, I've kind of noticed in some videos where there's like street interviews and things, when you can find someone who's by themselves and talk to them, then that is the best time to talk to someone, not when they're in a group. Because we've seen it in videos. People take their ideas from the people around them. And in today's society, at least, we have a lot of sheep, which is fine. Not everybody can be a leader. I mean, obviously, if everybody was a leader, then there would be no leaders, because in order to be a leader, you got to have followers. So not everybody can be a leader, but so we have a lot of followers. We've seen it where somebody gets asked a question and they're like, well, and then you see them look to, their friend that they're with or their partner and, for confirmation or, some help with the question. Like, hey, well, what do you think? Get people by themselves and talk to them then. Then they have nobody else to look to for ideas, for confirmation, or anything like that. It's just you and that person having that conversation. And I love the fact that people were open. And I'm sure not everybody agreed with him in this video, but at least people were open to looking into voting for Republicans. The tide is turning, guys, but what do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section below. Have you seen some of the same things that I've been seeing? Talk to me. Peace and love. I'm out.